Welcome to this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. Tonight I met Rosie's theater kids, Passing It On Gala, where BD Wong and Jay Cohen were honored. Rosie's theater kids celebrated actor, director, and writer BD Wong and attorney Jay Cohen Esquire at this year's Passing It On Gala. Helmed by artistic director Lisa Danzer, the evening featured performances by Rosie's theater kids at the K Playhouse at Hunter College, celebrating 20 years of mentorship. Crystal Joy Brown performed Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand before singer-songwriter Paul Williams presented Jay Cohen Esquire with his award.
Okay, if I had a brain, I would say nothing after that. So, to get this award from Paul, who's not only the chairman of ASCAP's board, but, one of the most celebrated songwriters in the world, a member of the Songwriters Hall of Fame, an Oscar winner, a 3-time Grammy winner. It's first of all a privilege to represent you and Rosie's board member, Beth Matthews, and ASCAP. And lots of ASCAP folks are here tonight, all the tireless work they do on behalf of music creators. And based on what we're looking at tonight, Paul, I think I see some members here in waiting. I think that there's so much talent here, and a lot of them will find their way to ASCAP over time. So Chelsea, who I met last month, and Paul, they've given my whole life story. I have really nothing left to say. Some of what they said was true, not all of it. And Paul's stuff was even less true than Chelsea had to say. But one of the reasons that I like this organization is so meaningful to me is I'm a graduate of New York City Public Schools. I went to PS 100. I went to Reynolds Junior High School, and I went to Lincoln High School. I learned that BD actually went to Lincoln High School, but 3,000 miles from mine. This organization has made such an incredible difference in the lives of thousands of public school students over the past 20 years. And if those of us who are here continue to do our part, they'll help thousands more over the next 20 years. And I also want to recognize BD Wong, who's made such important contributions to Rosie's, his time as a board member, the mentoring that you saw tonight, amazing, and his presence played no small part in persuading my children, friends, and colleagues to attend. I want to recognize my wife, Jennifer Chrisman, who I know she would have come even if BD were not here. She has been at my side every step of the way for 37 years. The performances tonight showcase the incredible talent of these students, and they're just incredible, aren't they? And it shows the first-rate dance and theater and musical training that Rosie's provides. And every time I attend this gala, and I've been to a bunch of them, I'm just blown away by their collective talent. They're just incredible. But what I find equally impressive, and what I want to talk about for a minute, and I hope all of you do as well, is everything else that Rosie's does for these kids, the academic guidance, the mentorship, the high school and college counseling that Rosie's provides to each student. It makes all the difference. And yes, I really am a first-gen college student, in case anyone didn't know that by now. In the 70s, when I was graduating from high school, that was not a term that had yet been invented. I know how important the mentoring and after-school work is for these children. And Rosie's, to me, it really lives its credo, which is rehearsing for life, not just rehearsing for the next performance on stage. And early last month, I had the opportunity to sit down with a group of kids. Renzo, who did the monologue, and Chelsea, who knows my entire life story, apparently. They led a panel. I got there on a Saturday afternoon, about 3 o'clock, and I hadn't really done very much that day. And by the time I had gotten there, they had done rehearsals. They had taken a practice PSAT in the morning. They checked on their homework. They were thinking about college. Chelsea and Renzo led a discussion. They had done so much research about me that they knew things that I had long forgotten. And I was peppered with insightful questions and requests for career advice, and the time flew by, and I left just as blown away by the students then as I am when I watch them perform. So if I can address all of you for a minute, and especially those of you who spent that Saturday with me, what I want to say to you is really very simple. If you have been rehearsing for life at Rosie's, you've got it down pat. So thanks again for this incredible honor, and I hope that you will join me continuing to support the important work of Rosie's Theater Kids.
Saturday Night Live's Bowen Yang presented the 2023 Rosie's Theater Kids Standing Ovation Award to his Aquafina is Nora from Queens castmate.
Hello everyone and good evening. My name is Lucy Lin and I'm a recent graduate from Binghamton University majoring in neuroscience. Thank you. And I'm currently working on applying for my master's degree to be a physician's assistant. Thank you. I was part of Rosie's Theater Kids graduating class of 2018, and I can truly say that I would not be who I am today without my time at Rosie's. I was introduced to the worlds of musical theater with Rosie's Theater Kids, coming first in King Matt, which he wrote and directed. I was scared at first for this big project, but that feeling faded when I met BD because of his fun, welcoming, and kind heart when he mentored my peers and I. He was so dedicated to every part of the process, from being at every rehearsal, to choreography, to music, to costumes, and made us realize that even the smallest detail mattered. He helped stretch our creativity, challenged us to take risks, and brought out the best in each of us. The second time BD mentored me was in a piece that he adapted and directed from In the Year of the Boar and Jackie Robinson, about a girl named Shirley Temple Wong who immigrated from China to Brooklyn in 1947. She finds it hard to assimilate into her new life until she becomes a Jackie Robinson fan, listening to him play baseball on the radio. In the end, she is able to find a double happiness by keeping old traditions from her Chinese heritage and adapting to new American ones, such as falling in love with baseball. It was through performing this piece with BD and his gentle guidance that I truly learned what double happiness meant. At that moment, I was a teenage girl taking center stage, holding my own alongside my mentor, BD Wong. BD, we know that your high school teacher, our high school drama teacher, Mrs. Chanis, saw a spark in you and ignited it. You did that for me, guiding a timid sixth grader, set me on a path to become the confident woman that I am today. You have truly passed it on, to me, to us. And that is why we are here tonight. Now, we want to share a little of those early theater experiences that helped inspire the artist that you are today. Please welcome my fellow alum, who was changed for good by you, BD, Anthony Garcia.
Coming down, don't know how I can never wait to see. fabulous Bowen Yang.
Wow, thank you so much to everyone at Artsy Kids for having me. Happy 20th birthday. You're not, the organization is not old enough to drink yet, but they can, and I looked this up, legally gamble in New Zealand. If everyone takes advantage of that. I cannot identify as a Rosie's theater kid, but I am a proud Rosie's television and streaming service adult. As someone who is heavily influenced by Rosie O'Donnell, but does not have any theater credits. I'm thrilled to be here tonight to present the Rosie's Theater Kids Standing Ovation Award to a legend in entertainment, a mentor to many in this room and outside of it, and my friend, BD Wong. In his 10 years of working with the organization, he has tirelessly displayed a commitment to excellence that embodies all the programs and values of Rosie's Theater Kids. The Standing Ovation Award seems to be a fitting honor in my eyes, since when I first met him, he happened to be standing. More specifically, he was standing at a New Year's party in his kitchen over a pot of congee he was making for all of his guests, while wearing thigh-high patent leather 6-inch heels. And it's an image that has indelibly stayed with me, and I think it also encapsulates all the things that make BD deserving of this award. He's always been able to pair the familiar with the new, the comforting with the compelling, and there he was in this act of generosity, sharing a part of himself with people he may or may not have known. In his beautifully unique way, he introduced himself to me with a smile, handed me a bowl of porridge, and walked ahead of me into the crowd. The next time I saw him was a few years later on the set of Awkwafina's Nora from Queens, season premiere April 26th. I was just a young little tenderfoot in the business on one of my first sets, and BD was especially patient with me, along with Lori Tanchin, who's in the audience tonight. Both of them taught me things like how I didn't have to actually swallow the food I was eating on every take. And once we wrapped, we went back to our trailers with him walking alongside me. And I think that's the thing about BD, is that he's walked ahead of us this whole time, but also somehow chosen to walk alongside us as well. Anytime I get asked about the dearth in Asian representation in media, I always quote something that BD said to me once, which is that we're still building the educational and developmental pathways to allow any young person, Asian or otherwise, to appreciate and engage with the arts, or maybe someday have a career in them. BD has always built those pathways his entire career. And on those pathways, he's defied all laws of physical space by walking ahead of us and alongside us at the same time. His passion for arts education and his belief that there is nothing young people cannot do has changed the lives of many, including mine. Without him, I would not be on this stage today, especially because he asked me to be here. But BD, knowing you is one of the luckiest things about me. I still can't believe I've gotten to see you up close as an excellent father, friend, and fake uncle. Your mentorship of me and so many students at Rosie's Theater Kids has impacted us immeasurably, and I can't wait to be in at least 7 more animated films with you, starring an all-Asian cast. Please join I have nothing really else to say. This is truly one of the great dynamos of our industry. Please join me in welcoming the recipient of the Rosie's Theater Kids Standing Ovation Award.
I think the first thing I have to say is to thank Bowen, because, of course, it goes without saying that having Bowen here, just raises the cachet of the whole event. It's just wonderful. I'm not being facetious. It's just so wonderful to have you here. But aside from that, it is, and so thank you so much for making the time to come here and do this. And but aside from that, I think I have to say that it is extremely meaningful to me personally. I am so invested in you and so full of affection and love for you, and I'm rooting for you, and I'm so thrilled and so exhilarated by your success and your talent and and you represent so many things to me and so many people that I know and so many people in our communities. And I am grateful for it, and it just means so much to me that you're here, so thank you. I just keep thinking, holy shit, Lucy's a nuclear physicist. And I didn't know what to say about that. I think one of the first things I want to say is that it is, and I don't mean to be too self-deprecating, but it is always surprising to me, these kinds of recognitions and acknowledgments, and I appreciate this so very much. And at the same time, I say, I have gotten so much out of this organization, and I have gotten so much out of every interaction I've had with every student and every collaboration and every member of the staff. And it is completely selfish that I'm actually involved in this place, because it's as much for me as it is for the students that we're working with. And you know, of course, it's a vital and important organization that gives so much to these students and lets them take something with them into their lives. And I love being a part of it for that reason. I just want to say that I know what I want to say. 10 years ago, I entered the doors. You know, I like to tell people I walked in 10 years ago and I never left. I got hooked by the whole spirit of the place, the spirit which you have seen displayed before you today. And I have spent 10 years working out of the 20. And in that 10 years, remarkable things have happened. And I'd say the most amazing thing about the last 10 years has been something that you have witnessed tonight, but wasn't evident in the first half of the 20 years that we were in existence. And that is what happens when the students get older and move out into the world. And that as the years go on, we see the sods that have been sown and the fruit of this labor, and we are greatly encouraged by it. It makes us want to do more. It makes us very proud of ourselves. It makes us refine the program and make the program more challenging and more interesting and more just better and better. Rosie O'Donnell and Lori Klinger founded this organization 20 years ago, and I think that it could be argued that one of the main kind of motivations for the beginning of the organization was that Rosie expressed that these New York public school kids had Broadway in their backyard and no access to it. So a big part of the beginning of the energy of this was bringing kids to Broadway shows and exposing them to the magic of the theater, the way I did when I sat in the audience and experienced musical theater. It became so much more of that. I think largely in part because of Lori's philosophy of mentorship. And I think that the only thing to me that is consistently the antidote to the difficulties of our world is mentorship. And that means that everything that we do to try to bring the new generations along and present the world to them as theirs, and to give them the skills to do that, to give them the integrity, to give them the passion for doing it, to give them the energy for it, to give them the desire to fix things that aren't right. All of that is in service to making the world a better place, a more livable place, a place where we can feel good about getting up in the morning. And so I am here today in the spirit of acknowledging that value of this wonderful organization, the symbolic nature of this organization being an antidote to the troubles of the world, and also to recognize in no uncertain terms that this organization needs our support to survive. And that we're here, it's a gala, it's a fundraiser. And I actually, I'll be really candid with you. I entered the doors of Maryville Arts Center as a guest artist and as a mentor and as a supporter, and I have never participated financially. And but that was kind of my shtick, was that I worked off, I sang for my supper. And I worked with the students, and I put my all into it, and I love it. But this time I said, well, I got this standing ovation honoree. And I thought, well, I'm gonna commit myself to doing that. And I have enjoyed immensely the process of fundraising for this organization. And I'm here to tell you I encourage you to do so tonight. And hoping that you will see the way I see the magic of this fabulous, wonderful, heartwarming, ultimately pure and positive program. And thank you so much for this. I thank you again, Bowen. Thank you to Lori. Thank you to Lisa and Stephen and everybody in the videos and who's performed. I never thought in my entire life ever that I would see a medley of my high school performance. Those were my high school shows. I played Barnaby in a production of Hello Dolly in which Annette Bening was in the chorus. And then I played the Hugh Jackman role in The Music Man. And that's my connection to Hugh Jackman. And then I played the leading man part in How to Succeed in Business. And so Lisa took that and really ran with it. I would just like to take the opportunity to thank my mother for sewing the white suit that I wore in The Music Man. I've taken up much of your time, but I want to say thank you to my family and everyone. I have a lot of people who showed up for me today. And it really is so meaningful that people have come to see what this organization is all about and to send positive energy my way. I really appreciate it. A special shout out to my brother Barry, who was the largest fundraiser of my group of fundraisers and made the largest contribution. Has yet to pour the guilt on for it. Thank you so much. I hope that you have a great time tonight, and thank you to all of you, and I love you very much.
Midnights and cups of coffee. theater. Do you think you could do something?
I think we did something.
20 years doesn't happen without enormous and generous support of that entire community. And that includes not only multiple generations of students and staff, but of our partner schools, their administrators, teachers and aides, guest artists and mentors that have shared their time and talents, the parents of our students who get them to our building year after year, and a tireless board of directors who consistently open their hearts and who have given generously over the years to support the mission and our belief that all students deserve the best.
We celebrate 20 years of a community that understands that the arts are essential to a well-rounded academic, social, and emotional education. We celebrate 20 years of a community understanding that the arts not only change lives, but are vital to the human experience. We celebrate 20 years of a community that didn't flinch at an economic downturn or two, opened its doors in the aftermath of a hurricane that happened, and showed that even a global pandemic could not stop the music. So tonight, we celebrate all of you. Here's to 20 years and 20 more.
My name is Lauren Ruxach, and I'm here to announce the 2023 SAM Scholarship. 9 years ago, I was the first SAM Scholar, short for Scholastic and Artistic Merit Scholarship, and it allowed me to attend Ithaca College to pursue a BFA in acting. Over the past 9 years, our angel donor, who is here in the audience tonight, has given over $1.5 million to help RT kids graduate. We are so grateful for her tremendous support. And the recipient of a $40,000 SAM scholarship is Lia LaFord.
Received the 2023 RT Kids SAM Scholarship and Artistic Merit Scholarship in the amount of $40,000. Judy Gold hosted the gala dinner at 583 Park Avenue, which also featured performances by Orphe, Nikki Kimbrough, Marissa Rosen, and Tim Codgers. The band was led by Stephen Jamal on the keys,
joining me for this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. Until next time.